What if I told you there's a Greek paradise waiting to be discovered? A place filled with ancient ruins, pristine beaches, and living traditions that most travelers overlook. The Peloponnese is not just another destination, it's a region on the mainland where you can actually experience the depth of Greek history and culture without the crowds you find in the islands or Athens. Don't forget to hit subscribe and join our community of explorers, getting practical travel guides on exceptional destinations around the world. At number 12 is Monemvasia. This medieval fortress town sits on a rocky island just off the Peloponnese coast, connected to the mainland by a narrow causeway. As soon as you pass through the stone gate, you're surrounded by winding cobbled streets, Byzantine churches, and stone houses clinging to the cliffs above the sea. The views here are striking, with the blue of the Mediterranean stretching out in every direction. Monemvasia's history is everywhere you look. The town was once a major trading hub, its walls shaped by centuries of Venetian and Ottoman rule. Today, you can see that blend in the architecture, arched doorways, old courtyards, and restored buildings now home to small shops and tavernas. Exploring Monemvasia feels like wandering through a living museum, but with the bonus of sea breezes and quiet corners to take it all in. The sense of history here is strong, yet the town still feels alive and welcoming. At number 11, we have Nafplio. This seaside town sits along a calm bay where Venetian grandeur meets Greek charm. Nafplio's most striking feature is the Peloponnese fortress, perched high above the rooftops. Climbing the steps, there are nearly 1,000, gives you sweeping views of the Argolic Gulf and the red-tiled buildings below. The old town feels like a painting. Narrow streets wind past neoclassical mansions and balconies covered with bougainvillea. There are plenty of inviting shops and cafes, and Syntagma Square is always buzzing with people enjoying the sun and local food. The architecture here tells the story of Venetian and Ottoman influences, with elegant facades and stone alleyways around every corner. At number 10, I visited the Diros Caves. Inside, you glide through a silent world by boat, with only the gentle sound of oars in the clear water and the echo of your guide's voice. The river beneath you is so transparent you can see the rocks and shadows below. Overhead, stalactites hang from the high ceilings, shaped over thousands of years by dripping water. Some formations look like sculptures, while others rise up like pillars from the floor. The caves stretch for kilometers under the Laconian Peninsula, and every turn reveals new chambers and clay formations. Archaeologists have found ancient animal bones and pottery here, showing that humans once used these caves long ago. It's a place where nature and history overlap in the quiet darkness. At number 9, we have ancient Olympia. This is where the Olympic Games began, and you can still feel the energy of the athletes who once competed here. Ancient Olympia was a sacred site dedicated to Zeus, and the first games took place in 776 BC. The ruins spread across a peaceful valley, with the remains of training grounds, temples, and the original stadium. You can walk onto the marble starting blocks and picture the crowds cheering as runners sprinted barefoot across the packed earth. The Temple of Zeus once held a massive gold and ivory statue, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. In the Archaeological Museum, you'll see bronze helmets, sculptures, and relics that tell the story of these games and the culture they helped shape. Even now, the Olympic flame is lit here before every modern games, keeping the connection alive. At number 8 is Epidaurus. Standing in this ancient theater, you notice how every word from the stage carries perfectly, even to the seats at the very top. The design dates back to the 4th century BC, and the acoustics are incredible, thanks to the semicircular shape and limestone seats that help sound travel evenly across the whole space. With room for up to 14,000 people, it's impressive to see how advanced Greek engineering was. Epidaurus wasn't just about performances. The theater was part of the sanctuary of Asclepius, where people came for healing. Pilgrims would seek cures, take part in rituals, and watch plays that were meant to lift the spirit while doctors worked to heal the body. Today, the theater still hosts performances during the Athens and Epidaurus Festival, connecting the past with the present. At number 7 is Maestras. Set on a hillside overlooking the Spartan Valley, Maestras stands as a remarkable window into medieval Greece. Once a major political and cultural center during the 14th and 15th centuries under the Paleologos dynasty, the city's ruins stretch across the landscape. Walking the old stone paths, I came across Byzantine churches, with faded frescoes, and the Cathedral of Agios Dimitrios, where the last Byzantine emperor was crowned. The Palace of the Despot sits at the top, offering wide views across the Laconia Valley. The monastery of Panaia Pantanassa is still home to nuns, and its frescoes are some of the best preserved in the area. Exploring Maestras, you get a sense of how daily life once filled these streets. At number 6, we go to ancient Messene. This site offers a rare look at an ancient Greek city that's almost completely preserved. Walking along the original streets, you see the grid layout and get a sense of how daily life was organized. The fortress walls are massive, stretching nearly 9 kilometers, and you can still see the gates and towers that once protected the city from invaders. Inside, the theater has rows of stone seats still in place, and the stadium, with its 18 rows, gives you a feel for the scale of athletic events held here. There's an archaeological museum on site with statues, pottery, and artifacts that help bring the city's history to life. With so few tourists around, it's easy to take your time and imagine what it was like centuries ago. As we continue uncovering these exceptional destinations, don't forget to hit subscribe and join our community of explorers getting practical travel guides. At number 5 is the Mani Peninsula. This region stands out for its stark landscape and traditional stone villages. The Mani Peninsula is known for its distinctive tower houses, tall fortified homes that once protected families during times of rivalry and isolation. Built by local clans, these stone towers still rise above the hills and coastline, giving the area a unique and unmistakable look. Vathia is the village that best shows off this tradition. Its cluster of old tower houses sits on a hilltop overlooking the sea. Walking through Vathia, you see how the architecture reflects the need for both shelter and defense, and you get a sense of the independence that shaped life here. Mani's quiet roads and wild beauty make it a place for travelers who want to experience something different. At number 4 is Voidokilia Beach. This beach stands out for its perfect crescent shape, soft white sand, and calm, shallow waters. The bay is framed by rocky headlands, creating a sheltered spot that feels peaceful, even on busier days. It's often called Omega Beach because of its unique outline, and you can see why as soon as you arrive. The gentle curve is almost too perfect to be real. Voidokilia is also connected to the Gialova Lagoon, a protected area that attracts migratory birds each year. The dunes and untouched shoreline are part of the Natura 2000 program, which helps preserve the area's natural beauty. There's a sense of quiet here, making it a favorite for families, swimmers, and anyone who wants to slow down and enjoy nature. At number 3 is the Odentodos Rack Railway. This narrow-gauge train starts in the coastal village of Diakopto and winds 22 kilometers up to the mountain town of Kalavrita. Built in 1896, the railway cuts through the Vourikos Gorge, giving you close-up views of sheer cliffs, forests, and streams that rush alongside the tracks. The train uses a rack and pinion system to manage the steep slopes, and you can really feel the climb as it moves through tunnels and over old stone bridges. Reaching Kalavrita at the end of the line, I found a town with a quiet charm and deep history, perfect for wandering its streets and learning about the region's past. The journey itself is a reminder of how much the Peloponnese has to offer, especially for anyone who enjoys exploring dramatic landscapes. At number 2, I explored the Tegetos Mountains. These peaks rise above the Peloponnese, offering trails that cut through dense forests and open up to wide mountain views. Hikers can choose from easy, shaded walks or more challenging climbs that lead to Prophetus Ilias, the highest summit at nearly 7,900 feet. Along the way, the landscape shifts from thick pine woods to rocky slopes, and wildflowers grow in the clearings. Small mountain villages with stone houses appear between the trees, and the E4 Pan-European Trail gives a well-marked route for anyone wanting to cross the region on foot. The air feels crisp, and you notice the quiet, broken only by birds or the sound of your own steps. The Tegetos Mountains are a place to slow down and take in the details of the land. At number 1 is Pylos. This coastal town sits along Navarino Bay, where the calm water and gentle hills create a peaceful setting. The bay itself is the heart of Pylos, perfect for a quiet walk or a boat ride, with the landscape unfolding in every direction. As you move through town, you notice how history and daily life are closely connected. Pylos' two castles stand as reminders of its strategic past. The new castle, built by the Ottomans, and the Venetian fortress both offer wide views over the bay and town. The significance of the Battle of Navarino in 1827 is hard to miss. It's a key chapter in Greece's fight for independence, and the story lingers in the atmosphere and architecture. The streets are lined with a mix of old buildings and modern cafes, and the relaxed pace lets you take it all in. The Peloponnese offers something rare, a glimpse into Greece that feels untouched by time. From the towering Tagatos Mountains to serene beaches like Voidokilia, the variety here is unmatched. You can wander medieval streets, explore hidden caves, and hike paths with breathtaking views, all without the crowds. So if you're planning your next trip, consider the Peloponnese and share which destination excites you most in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more expert tips and discover the world's most exciting and affordable places to explore next.